IVM.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into a show about crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM Podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
Here's your smart fact of the day. Do you know there's something called social and behavior change communication? So what is it? It's an interactive process of any intervention with individuals or some groups or even communities to develop communication strategies that promote positive behaviors, like maybe wearing a mask in pandemic times or drinking more water or whatever it is, and thereby solving the world's most pressing health problems. This in turn provides supportive environment which will enable people to, kind of sustain and maintain positive behavior outcomes. So social and behavioral change communication, does it really work? And what makes it work and what makes it doesn't? So if you're in the health industry or in the fitness industry, and if you're trying to get consumers to change the way in which their habits are, is it possible? Let's explore this in today's Smarter with Sid. Let's go. In fact, I got to thank Shreya Upadhyay, who runs a personal blog, who's a health and fitness blogger, lifestyle blogger, and she's also my student. So she asked me this question around the health industry. So the fact is that this is what she was actually kind of contemplating. She was looking at it from a brand's perspective. Like, as a brand, she asks, how much impact can I have in bringing the behavioral change towards the usage of a product that would be relevant in the consumer's life, but they're not used to consuming it? For example, let's say an energy drink. So how do you get some customer to use your product, which is going to be useful for you as the consumer, but you're not into it because your habits are not into it? Shreya, that's a real tough one. As a brand, what is the kind of intervention that you can make? Now, you can make this intervention if you actually understand what you're trying to do in the first place. So for that, we need to kind of pause and take a couple of steps back. So what you're trying to do is not get the guy or gal to check out your brand as something which is a healthy habit or healthy drink or the energy drink that you were talking about. But more than that, you're trying to get the guy to actually get into a new health pattern. Now, you know, and I do, how difficult it is to get somebody to change their habits. In fact, you cannot break a habit. I would say you can only untangle it. There's a difference between untangling a habit and breaking it. Because if you try to break a habit, it comes back and really bites you very badly. If you untangle it, it means that you've understood the core reason why your habit has perpetuated itself in the first place. Now, for a brand to say, hey, here's an energy drink and that's good for you, so you should go for it, is not really going to work for people who are unwilling to change in the first place. So what do you do? So what you do, Shreya, and anybody else who is actually looking at this question of habit change for customers, is that you don't try to break the habit at a brand level. Let me explain this. If you try to change the habit at a brand level, people will find your brand irrelevant. But if you try to address two aspects, let's look at the consumers. Aspect number one is, let's look at the consumers who are willing or wanting to change over to a healthier alternative and target them well. So maybe it is not a communication problem, but a targeting problem. Who are the people who will be attracted to maybe a new energy drink? Who are the early adopters and innovators who will go towards this new energy drink? Do they exist? Are they looking out to try alternatives because they are already in the health and fitness regime? So now that becomes a very different problem to solve. But Shreya, I don't think you're actually asking that. You're asking, how can I change people's habits? Well, you can't change people's habits for the brand that it stands for. right? At a brand level, you can't change it. What you can do is you can actually change it at a habit level. So I need to take a step back and perhaps remind you of the way in which you perhaps have changed your own habits, or all of us listening. How did we change our habits? We changed our habits when we kind of stacked things together. Let me explain. So, for example, if you put your floss next to your toothbrush, it is quite likely that you will floss immediately after you brush your teeth. Isn't that interesting? So, if you put your running shoes next to your bed, when you wake up, you will wear your shoes and go for a run. What you're doing is you're making minor contextual changes in order for you to actually change or untangle that habit that we are talking about. Now, here we are talking about somebody who is in a state of affairs that is not really going to get them to drink energy drinks unless and until they make other corresponding habitual changes. So how about actually creating a program that targets that, and then connect that to the brand itself and connect that to the drink itself, saying, hey, while you're doing your workout, and if you're looking for a substitute that gives you energy but not too much calories or whatever it may be, try this out. I think that has a much better chance of success, because people do want to change habits, but people don't want to be duped into drinking energy drinks. You get it? That is a big, big difference. People want to change their habits. People want to untangle themselves away from their bad habits, but they don't want to be duped. Sophisticated customers don't want to be duped into drinking some brand's energy drink. In the first step, if you get an association, a positive association of the brand with the habit changing decision that the customer has taken, then you're onto a good thing. Now, let me correlate it with the New Year's, because it's going to come up in some time, right? Most people are creating resolutions around the new year, and they decide to go to the gym, or they decide to go for a run, or whatever it is, or they change their diet. Now, those are external triggers that we can use to build those habits in, or to talk about those habits to our intended customers that we are helping to change habits. Do keep in mind, you can't talk at the brand level, but you can certainly get a brand to sponsor some calendar, or you can get a brand to sponsor some resolution driven event, or get a brand to sponsor a marathon or something around that. So when people are trying to change themselves, change their spots, or get some affiliation with gyms, that is when they will try your drink. Is this making sense? So to my mind, I don't think there is any magic bullet over here. There is no magical theory that will allow you to use golden words that are going to suddenly change people's attitudes towards a brand that is actually good for customers, but they are not going for it, right? In fact, a lot of people argue with me on this thing. No. How can the customer, not see it? What did Steve Jobs do differently? How did Steve Jobs succeed in making the customer want what he knew they would want, but they hadn't just seen it, till then? And I argue back with them, saying Steve Jobs had to wait for at least 15 years before he made a breakthrough, getting people to actually understand what kind of products he's going for. Because trust me, Apple of the 80s and the 90s, till the iPod and iTunes and everything happened, was very much a niche product, wherein Steve Jobs and Apple was struggling to take on the might of Microsoft and anybody else, because people were not seeing what Steve Jobs was seeing for them. So again, people are not going to see what you're seeing for them for the health industry. They will only convert when they want to. And so you have to identify trends and events wherein you will find the people who want to do this change, in other terms, the wannabe changers. You need to get connected to them at that point in time, look at those external triggers, and talk at the habit level or the trend level rather than the brand level. I hope this helps. It is a long answer to a very complicated question. I think it is quite possible that you might be a little disappointed because you want magic words, but that is not going to actually help in this case. It is a long drawn affair wherein you need to actually keep working on this over a period of time and identify what trigger works and what doesn't. I hope that helps you, Shreya, and anybody else who's interested in behavioral change to untangle habits at a brand level. I hope I've done justice to that answer, or that question. Yeah. And if you like podcasts like these, you got to go to IVM. And if you like me, well, I'm the traveling professor on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And until next week then, see you soon.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On The Habit Coach, Ashton talks to Garima Pandey. She is the co-founder of Wandering Jane. They discuss solo travel and how it's perceived. Does the story of a fake lawyer on the run sound interesting to you? Then definitely tune into Misconduct. Raghavi and Nisha discuss the story of Ceci Xavier. On GBCD, Farhad and Sunitru discuss how sometimes people don't feel inclined towards sex, some possible causes, and how it's okay to feel so occasionally. On Press Decode, Sarah and Prafula are joined by author and journalist Sandeep Roy. They discuss the no stags policy that many bars and restaurants follow across the country. Do check out Hanswani, the story Tirthan talks to us about the aspiration and challenges of widowed women. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, do remember, go check out our website, ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, to get a list of all of our YouTube channels. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, HDFC Mutual Fund, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Namaste, this is Cyrus Brocha. I am part of the government cancel culture program to remove rubbish off all the different streams available. So what we have is all the collected rubbish we put together on our show. It's called Cyrus Says. It's on IVM Podcast. You have to watch it and listen to it. It's on our app. It's on our website. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Facebook. There are many different ways. Don't bother me and ask me how. You have to find out. We talk to different personalities. Many of them are known. Some are just people we meet downstairs and invite them up for chai. But the point is, it's fun and it's very therapeutic. So please join in and listen to Cyrus Says.